yes, a stimulus check for everyone can be added. I have all the details for you here in the video, and what I'm watching closely, let's get into it and talk through the details. All right, now as of recently, we've been hearing a whole lot more about this massive reconciliation bill, which they are currently working on and will be coming sooner than later. We're getting some of the framework as far as what they are going to be adding into it, a rough dollar amount as far as how much this massive thing is going to cost, as well as a timeline on the passage of this, as well as a whole bunch of other details. There's a lot going on right now, and there's still a lot of unanswered questions out there. We still don't know a lot about this. However, the big question coming in is, can they really add stimulus checks into this thing? The simple answer is yes, absolutely 100%. They can add stimulus checks into this package if they just so desire to do so. And again, we still don't know the entire framework about it. Just because they are not there yet, I wouldn't dismiss that and be like, we're never getting them again. I definitely would not say that whatsoever, and I've made that very clear in other videos as well. But let's quickly talk about this for just a second here, because I've seen this out there, and I want to highlight this because it's actually a really cool thing about the reconciliation legislation, which I've talked about before in other videos, which I like to refer to as the wild card. Why? Because you can do just about anything with it. Now, here's the cool thing about it as well. I know that there's a lot of you here in this community that receive fixed income benefits administered by Social Security, right? One of the major concerns that I've seen from many, many people here in the community, and rightfully so, I don't blame you one bit, which is, hey, are they going to jack around with our Social Security in this reconciliation? Or are they going to mess up Social Security with this reconciliation? The answer is no, they can't. Legally, they can't touch it. Not bad, right? But they can add some pretty cool things in there, like distribution of and all these other things to do with stimulus checks for virtually everybody. Not bad, right? I love that approach. Anyway, let's quickly talk about this here for another second. I want to give you just some perspective and some examples, okay? So back a couple years ago, we had a couple different reconciliation bills. One of them was the Inflation Reduction Act. That was a reconciliation bill. Honestly, that was a joke. It had nothing in it. It was $900 billion. Absolute joke. They said that it was supposed to reduce inflation. It did nothing of the sort. It spent another $900 billion that we don't have, and again, contributed to more inflation. So that's a joke of a name and joke of a bill, but that was out there as well. It did absolutely nothing for all of us. Okay, so that's one of them. Anyway, that was a reconciliation bill. But another big one as well, back in the beginning of 2021, like one of the first things that were done when we turned over to the new year was the American Rescue Plan. This was, by the way, a few years ago in 2021. Okay, I just want to be very clear when this was. So 4 years ago was when this took place. But this was the American Rescue Plan, right? The $1.9 trillion reconciliation bill at that time, and that one contained a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, that was a whole pile of things that were in there, right? $350 billion for states. Do you remember that? States just had tons and tons of money. They had no idea what to do with it. And ultimately, they just blew it all and gave it all away and did all kinds of weird things with it. But that money was gone, right? $350 billion for states. They had the advanced child tax credit payments in there. Those were really awesome for like nearly 40 million households that were getting those the second half of 2021, plus the lump sum payment in early 2022. As a result of that, that was really cool for them. But it also did contain the $1,400 third stimulus check. That was also contained in there, and that was all the reconciliation bill. So my point is, yes, absolutely, 100%, they can add stimulus checks or anything of the sort into a reconciliation bill. They can do that. So this is kind of one of the cool things. And again, I've said this a couple times here previously in other videos, which is I refer to the reconciliation bills as the wild card, right? The golden ticket, whatever you want to call it, for this exact reason. They can add a bunch of really cool stuff into it, but at the same time, they can't touch Social Security. Can't touch it. Can't do it. Legally cannot do it, right? So the cool thing is like your benefits are secure. They can't tinker around with Social Security. They can't cut. They can't cancel. They can't end. They can't do anything to your benefit with a reconciliation bill, but they can add really cool stuff like add stimulus checks if they wanted to. They could add one-off, who knows what, universal income benefit payments. They could add guaranteed basic income payments. They could add whatever. Again, we're calling them stimulus checks, but they could give them some other fancy name. Who knows? They could call it a Patriot check. I mean, seriously, you know what I mean? They could literally call it that if they wanted to. Would that not be a cool sell? Which, by the way, I'm going to coin that right here, right now. I just came up with that, okay? I'm sure some other schmuck here on the tube will come in and talk about it and say, oh, this is my idea. Okay, fine, whatever. I just made it up. And I kind of like that because here's the thing. We know that they're into this stuff. So maybe we could sell it. Maybe we should reach out to lawmakers right now and say, hey, we need a Patriot check. They would love that. They'd eat that up. And I'd be like, hey, let's do this. Let's roll, right? Let's make it $2,000. Let's make it $2,500. Let's make it whatever. I don't know. It's a Patriot check. We can make it whatever we want it to be, right? So anyway, I'm just saying, my point is they can do anything they want here for the most part, and they'll call it whatever they want. They can give it some fancy name, or they don't have to give it any name at all. But that's the reality that they can do, right? Now, here's the other thing as well. We know that this is likely going to pass within the next relatively short amount of time. Again, I've seen varying timelines out there, but I would say within the next 2 months at most, for sure. Well, I shouldn't say for sure. Okay, there's always delays with this, but who knows? In the next handful of months, I mean, realistically, it's not going to be all that long. They're likely going to pass this thing, okay? And it's going to be easy. Why? It's a reconciliation bill. It simply needs a majority in the chambers. That's about it. That's about it. So like the 60 votes in the Senate that's typically needed for most legislation, nope. They don't need that. Just a simple majority across the board in the chambers, and then the president signs it, and boom, there you go. That's why these reconciliation bills are so incredibly easy, and why, when one party has control of everything, why they do them. They don't have unlimited reconciliation bills at their disposal. They only have a couple available to them, which is why they need to cram everything they possibly can into these things so they can get all that they want done into them. That's why we typically see these reconciliation bills be trillions and trillions of dollars, because they got to add a ton of stuff to it because they only have a couple shots, right? They only have a couple options to do this, and then it kind of goes away, right? So anyway, this is what it comes down to. It's kind of an exciting time. We'll see what happens here. And I love my idea, Patriot check. Awesome name, right? I mean, that's really what it would be. So anyway, let's see what happens here. So anyway, I will keep you posted on all this going forward. Any further details that we get about this reconciliation bill, obviously I will bring it to your attention right away. And any other further developments on timelines or additions to, or any other economic data that we need to watch right now that may help us determine the likelihood of anything like this, obviously I'll bring it to you right away. I hope this helps you. Again, please, if I can ask a huge favor of you, number one, make sure to subscribe to the channel. 100% free to do so. Thank you so much for being part of the community. I truly appreciate all of you here. Thank you so much for watching. Also, if you can think of 1 or 2 people that benefit from this information here in the video, share this video with them. There's a share button right down below as well. It's 100% free to do so. Thank you so much for your support. I truly do appreciate it. Otherwise, if you can think of anybody else out there, feel free to share this video with them. Again, share button on all the videos. Otherwise, check out the well over 5,000 videos here on the channel in the video library. And again, share those as well. Otherwise, down below in the description or the top of the comment section, I've hand-selected some very popular videos for you there. Check those out. Or right now, popping up on your screen as well, you'll see some videos there. Thank you so much. Please take your selection now. Have a nice day. Thank you so much for watching. And hopefully I'll catch you again soon in the next